It's Red Eye Radio. Gary McNamara and Eric Harley talk about everything from politics to social issues and news of the day. Whether you're up late or you're just starting your day, welcome to the show. From the Uniden America Studios, this is Red Eye Radio.
All across America, he's Eric Harley and I'm Gary McNamara. You know how we talked about the Boston mayor, Wu, yesterday, and then I think one of the commissioners, that one of the first things they talked about, and this was a case where a guy was trying to stab two people and a police officer shot him and killed him. And they were talking about the condolences to the person that was killed, and it was the exact same words as if it was almost workshopped.
Right.
Or they were talking points that came out.
Right.
Well, of course, there was vicious blowback against that. What are you talking about? This is somebody who's trying to kill two people.
Right.
Well, we have we believe in we believe that all life is, and it's like, no.
They believe in giving deference to the criminal.
Exactly. Well, look at this here. A California bill introduced last month would require homeowners to exhaust all reasonable means of escape before using deadly force against intruders or face homicide charges. Assembly Bill 1333 should be 1666 maybe. Assembly Bill 1333 seeks to modify the state's justifiable homicide laws. The bill states it would eliminate certain circumstances under which homicide is justifiable, including, among others, in defense of habitation or property. It also aims to clarify circumstances in which homicide is not justifiable, including, among others, when a person uses more force than necessary to defend against a danger. Critics argue the bill would place homeowners in an unreasonable and dangerous position. According to Fox 26 News, in California, Assemblyman Daniel Tangapa of California's 8th District voiced strong opposition. So the homeowner, here's a quote, so the homeowner would have to determine within seconds or whatever why a stranger suddenly showed up inside their house at any given hour before they could safely do anything or defend themselves. Because that's the whole point. You only have seconds.
Well, that's it. And so what all has to be, if you think about it, the criteria, right? You're all right. Now you want to know, excuse me, bad guy, do you have a deadly weapon?
That's what he said.
How proficient are you, bad guy, with your deadly weapon? I need to know. On a scale of 1 to 10, bad guy, are you a deadly threat? 1 being not deadly threat, of course, 10 being, yes, very deadly threat.
The assemblyman continued, they would have to exercise all other options of, oh, well, you could have just run away. You could have jumped out the window before using your deadly force to protect yourself in your own home or protect your family. You have to prove that it was necessary to shoot somebody who broke into your house. How do you prove that? If the person has a bat, I almost have to allow him to hit me first to then prove that they had an intent to kill me. And that is unacceptable. And not only that, it steps on our Second Amendment rights. If you can't be safe in your own home, where can you flee to? He argued the bill is dangerous because it focuses on restricting homeowners rather than punishing criminals who break into homes. The bill, which has not yet been assigned to a committee for consideration, runs contrary to castle doctrine laws that several states have imposed. These laws grant homeowners the ability to practice self-defense by using force, including deadly force, to protect themselves against an intruder without the duty to retreat first. There you go.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's it. It's you would have to assess the situation on many levels, which means, of course, that person, that bad guy, is a greater threat because you're going to go through your checklist to make sure that you don't go to prison for defending you, your property, your family.
Here would be a thing that most people probably could understand, all right? You hear something. You're laying in bed. You get out. You get up out of bed. Your door's open. You can see down the hallway this person's running towards you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you can see them, and you know it's not a member of your family and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
You know it's somebody who has broken into your home, and they're coming at you.
Right.
And you've got your gun.
Right.
Do you shoot?
I would.
Yeah, you shoot. And this law would say, well, there was a window you could have jumped out right there.
You could have closed the door.
You could have closed the door. You could have jumped out the window.
Well,
it
gets into the insane thing of, well, you could have just shot him in the leg. You could have just
winged him.
Right. Did you really think it through before you? No, I didn't. What I was thinking about was my life, my family's life, my property that I have a right to defend and will.
And the person's in here illegally. They've committed a felony already at that point.
Right.
They've committed a felony. They're coming towards me.
Yeah.
And if they're coming towards me, I'm assuming it's not to say, hello, here's a gift.
Not going to be a hug.
When I talked about Wingham, the meme yesterday of Vance and Trump sitting there, and they both have their hands out, like looking at, like, whoa.
Yeah.
And it says, when you order a pizza and the person who has no money says, let's get wings too.
Yeah, right, exactly. I love it.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, but I just, you see that, you're just like, wow. And this is part of what we say is going on right now, whether, we played, I almost said Ocasio-Cortez. We played Representative Crockett, the nutcase that she is, my congressperson, talking about how Trump wants to suspend elections or whatever, which, of course.
Right. That's off the charts. You have to lie in order to create fear. This is what they do.
Because he wants a third term. And, of course, he trolls with that, but it's trolling because he knows he can get him on it. But you see you see Hochul saying, okay, I'm part of the resistance now.
Yeah.
Boy, she's got her own problems with why isn't that made major national news? A lot of people that I know in Western New York are asking this question with the strike of all the prison guards up there. It's getting brutal.
Right.
And she's just being eviscerated. So it's like, okay, how can I save myself? I'm anti-Trump too. Oh, good, because we thought you were pro-Trump.
Yeah. We had it wrong, I guess.
But you see that, and then you see, here it is. This is Harry Enton a couple of weeks ago. Then you see this, where a couple of weeks ago he was talking about the polling on men playing women's sports. Here it was.
I think these numbers are really illuminating on this topic because I just think there's such a clear trend among the American public. So transgender female athletes in women's sports, only 18% of the country says that they should be, in fact, allowed to participate in women's sports. Compare this to the opposition. My goodness gracious, 79%. You rarely get 79% of the country to agree on anything.
There you go. And last night, every single Democrat senator voted in the position of allowing men to compete against women.
Yep.
It filibustered the bill that would say, men, we're going to follow what Title IX says. We're going to follow the law, which is about sex, not what you believe you are, but your biological sex. Every single Democrat senator voted against it. So you still have the identity politics, the racism of the Democratic Party, the women hatred, the misogyny of the radical transgender movement that every single Democrat senator has voted for.
Yep.
So if you think they're going away, they're not.
Nope. And it's, again, this is them regrouping.
Yep.
This is them basically trying to decide right now, if you've listened to all the back and forth by top liberals in recent weeks. How do we sell it? How do we sell insanity? Not we need to reconsider our stance on the issues. How do we sell it?
Yep.
Which inevitably gets back to the lying thing. You're going to have to lie.
No, but I think that's a great point because we've often said, we've been saying it since 2018, when are they going to change? They've got to change up their position. And since they lost in November, you and I have talked about it, they never actually get to the point of what the problem is. As we always say, they suck on the issues.
Yep.
They absolutely suck on the issues.
Yep.
And they're not talking about the fact that we've got to, we've got to relate. What they're talking about is style has to be different. We have to talk about it in a different way. They're not talking about changing at all their insane beliefs.
No, they're not. It's about how do we sell it? How do we make the American public buy it?
How can we market our insanity better?
Yep, that's the only thing they're worried about, not changing on the issues. And it won't stop. That becomes, look, they're liars anyway. But that becomes basically part of the old playbook. Bringing back the old playbook of pretending to be something on the surface at election time and then going to work after if you win. You know?
Are you saying that she really wasn't for a wall?
Oh, no, I believe she was
Harris.
for a wall. I believe Kamala Harris wanted to build a wall on the southern border. I believe that. You know, when I was with Aerosmith, I said, one day a lady, and if you believe I was with Aerosmith, you believe that I believe she wanted to build a wall. It's how it's well, speaking of which, Tim Walz basically was saying that in that podcast yesterday where he also said, he's open to running in 2028. Yeah, but are the voters? He talked about it. Oh, I don't know why we lost. Had a woman of color. We actually said that. That was his words. We had a woman of color as a leader, and we know why you lost. And the fact that you don't, if that's accurate and true, tells me you probably shouldn't run in 28. But it's about, because he kind of alluded to the whole thing of how you get the message across. He didn't say we need to change as a party. Nope. We need to change how we're selling it. It's what they're all saying.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to change on the issue.
Yeah, I haven't heard one. I've heard maybe, James Carville say that they've got to stop the identity politics and the racism of it.
Right.
But nobody's paying attention to him anymore. Nobody pays attention to Serpent.
No. It's
they just don't.
laughable.
Yeah, they just don't.
Nope.
But nobody that has any potential of being in power in the Democratic Party is talking about we need to relate to the average person by backing them on the issues that they believe. Right. Nobody's saying that. They're saying, nope, we've got to convince them that we're right. We've got to find another way to do it. And as you and I've said, it's pretty simple. You're not going to convince. It's real simple, like the border. Well, we got to. How can we convince them that people should be allowed just to come across? Well, you can't.
You can't.
How can we convince them that paying a lot more in taxes is a good thing, or that debt is a good thing, and continue to lie to them and say it's not government that causes inflation, it was the greed of the corporations.
Right.
That you notice nobody's talking about that anymore, are they?
No.
No,
They're not.
They know where it comes from. They know where it came from beforehand.
Right.
It comes from too much money supply, which the only entity that can do that is government.
Well, and that's the problem that the left has they're trying to come up with different lies on how they sell their insanity. But in today's world, that gets harder and harder when you've been essentially called out on your lies. Now, some people don't care that they're lying. They still get tens of millions of people to vote for them. And they're willing to, the rank and file voter that votes for the Democrats, they're willing to vote against women's rights. We see that. We don't see any outrage. And if you're voting for the Democrats, you're voting against women's rights. So the fight isn't over. This battle is far from over. And now they're just regrouping, trying to figure out how they lie better. That's it.
866-90-RED-EYE.
This morning's USDA Farm Report is brought to you by House Products. Tested, trusted, guaranteed since 1920.
More details about the Economic and Emergency Relief Program for our nation's farmers. A program now titled
the Emergency Commodity Assistance Program, ECAP.
According to Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins, speaking Sunday at Commodity Classic in Denver. While ECAP logistics in total are still being formalized, the Secretary said for the first $10 billion of economic assistance required for release by March 21st.
We are on track to beat that and get that money starting to move immediately in the next few weeks.
Secretary Rollins adds streamlined applications for economic assistance under ECAP and standards for calculating payments are being developed. She also told the audience at Classic,
we are simultaneously working on rapid implementation of the $20 billion in disaster assistance due to weather conditions outside your control.
I'm Rod Bain reporting for the U.S. Department of Agriculture in Washington, D.C.
This report brought to you by Cenex Fuels and Lubes.
Lines open for your calls. 866-90-RED-EYE on Red Eye Radio.
It's Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Welcome and good morning. You know, you and I have talked in the past about Biden and how Biden allowing Iran to get the oil money was in essence the United States enabling the financing of all of the surrogate terrorist groups that Iran supported to help attack Israel and U.S. military bases. And we said just how incredible it is when you think right now just reading the headline here, because it's true, Europeans are fueling Russia's war effort through gas purchases while militaries wither. Remember Trump warned them in 2018? They laughed at him.
Oh, yeah.
But who's actually, when you think about it, who's helped supporting the war against Ukraine?
Right.
The Europeans.
Yep.
And it's just Trump warned them on it. And coming up following the bottom of the hour, great piece. Just want to read a couple of paragraphs out of it because really this lays out what happened at the meeting the other day and gave background on it also as to what Trump has actually done, which is, we've said it, but we said it in a different way than it's written here.
Yeah.
But the way sometimes I'll have an opinion and then I'll read another opinion and go, wow. They had the same opinion to me, but even in my opinion, they wrote it better than I said it.
Right, yeah.
And this is one of those times. Mark Thiessen of the Washington Post, big supporter of Ukraine, he is. But what he wrote about this was Zelensky's fault.
Right.
Coming up.
You're listening to Red Eye Radio from the Uniden America Studios.
It's Friday Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Good morning. Welcome. This was a great piece from Mark Thiessen, Washington Post columnist and a supporter of Ukraine. Mm-hmm. This was all over social media. And he writes it here, and it's true. If you watch the entire 50-minute meeting, you know what happened. He says the blow-up was Zelensky's fault. To understand why, one needs to watch the entire 50-minute meeting unfold. Trump greeted Zelenskyy graciously, praising the courage and resilience of the Ukrainian people, and dismissed their earlier rift as a little negotiation spat. Right?
Yeah.
Well, that's fine.
Right.
That's dandy. That's dandy. Even after Zelenskyy...
It's dandy.
Even after Zelenskyy refused a White House request to wear a suit, Trump praised his outfit, saying, "I think he's dressed beautifully." Trump extolled the minerals deal that they had reached and said, "We look forward to getting in and digging, digging, digging." He publicly pledged to continue military aid to Ukraine and even held out the possibility that he, quote, could conceivably commit to U.S. troops alongside British and French troops to provide security after a peace deal was reached. Sound like compromising to you? Seems like he's compromising to me. He's offering a pretty big olive branch.
Tons of options here.
This should have been music to Zelensky's ears. He should have taken the win. Instead, about 24 minutes in, long before his exchange with Vice President J.D. Vance, Zelenskyy started criticizing Trump in front of the assembled reporters. He dismissed Trump's idea of an immediate ceasefire, something that is extremely important to Trump, who is committed to stopping the killing, because he said Putin has already broken ceasefires 25 times. Trump said, "He never broke with me." No. You were president, Zelenskyy said. He goes, "No, he never broke anything to me." Instead of letting him pass, Zelenskyy said it again. Why on earth did Zelenskyy choose to get into a fact check back and forth with Trump in front of the entire world rather than debate the wisdom of a ceasefire behind closed doors? A few moments later, after Trump bemoaned the destruction of Ukrainian cities, Zelenskyy interrupted him again. No. You have to come, Mr. President. You have to come and look. No. We have very good cities. He then suggested that Trump was falling for Putin's propaganda, declaring it's Putin that is sharing this information that he destroyed us. But Trump was right. Many Ukrainian cities have been destroyed. Zelensky's intervention was reckless and unnecessary. He was in Washington to heal a breach that began with his public suggestion that Trump was living in a Russia disinformation space, a suggestion that then prompted Trump to lash out and call Zelenskyy a dictator without elections. Why would he do it again? You could see Trump's demeanor stiffening with every public contradiction from Zelenskyy. Then a Polish journalist asked Trump whether he had aligned himself too much with Putin. You want me to say really terrible things about Putin and then say, "Hi, Vladimir, how about we work on a deal?" It doesn't work that way. That's when Vance jumped in. For 4 years in the United States of America, we had a president who stood up at news conferences and talked tough about Putin, and then Putin invaded Ukraine and destroyed a significant chunk of that country. The path to peace and path to prosperity is maybe engaging in diplomacy. And then Zelenskyy got into the whole diplomacy thing.
Right.
And then that's where everything started. And he was, and that's, at that point, everything just went off the rails. But when you look at it, Trump was extremely gracious in the beginning. And think about what, and again, this is just day one of the first puzzle of a 1,000-piece puzzle.
Right.
And Trump said, hey, the dictator thing, hey, back and forth, a little negotiation spat.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, let's just forget about that. Let bygones be bygones. And he goes, even after Zelenskyy refused a White House request to wear a suit, Trump praised the outfit. Then he pledged to continue military aid to Ukraine and then held out the possibility that he could conceivably commit U.S. troops along with British and French troops to provide security after the peace deal was reached. And Mark Thiessen's got a great point. Take the win and go. This is day one. This is puzzle part one.
Right. Learn how to take a yes for an answer. I'm telling you, he does not want it.
Well, you know, when you look at it, I mean, the reality is in something like this. You think about World War II and, the destruction of Germany and Japan and everything else, and you think of Germany and the Marshall Plan. We actually put money back into the people that were, without question, the oppressors, and killed millions and millions and millions and millions of people, and created a Holocaust, as we know.
Mm-hmm.
Committed a Holocaust, just murdered millions of people. We had to rebuild them.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't give reparations because they were so soundly defeated. Now, in the case of Russia, you're not going to get $300 billion in reparations. It's not happening.
No.
They haven't been defeated. They haven't surrendered. It's just you've got a draw going on here. So what do you do when you have a draw? You negotiate. You don't know what the negotiations might not work.
Well,
but what he made clear, Zelenskyy, the other day is, this war could go on for years and years and years. And then he backtracked on that.
Well, I don't think he wants to go to the table. I wouldn't trust Vladimir Putin. I don't trust Vladimir Putin. But if you can, through this effort, including the United States and Europe, get to the table, you go to the table.
Did get one email. You guys are just pro-Putin. Yeah, and we're controlled by the Chinese too. That's
right. We're actually controlled by Greenland. You didn't know that, did you?
After we get our 9:30 talking points, from where did we get them from? The New World Order.
That's right.
That's right. Yeah. A couple of years ago. That was still one of the funniest moments I ever had in radio. We asked the guy, "What do you think? We get our talking points from the New World Order at 9:30 every morning?" He said, "Yes."
And now we get them from Putin.
Exactly. We just directly from Putin.
Right.
We don't
of course. Right.
But it's it's this whole thing that because it's the only thing Democrats have left is Trump's a tool of Putin. Yeah, that's really in Trump's personality to be submissive to another world leader.
Right.
Yeah, that's Trump's personality.
Right.
Trump's personality. Next thing he's going to do is come down and bow down before us here at Red Eye Radio. That's Trump. That's the type of personality he has. He tends to bow down to other people.
Well, and when with the White House Oval Office presser with Elon Musk standing there, then it was.
Oh yeah. Exactly.
See, he's submissive to Elon Musk. Right. Yeah. No, you're right. I had it wrong with Donald Trump. All these years of him putting his name on everything he owns.
Remember that? See, there's the imagery. Elon Musk is standing up and Trump is sitting down. Therefore, Elon Musk has the authoritative position, and Trump is the one that's groveling at his feet. That's what we saw there. That was it.
Of course, you accomplished the greatest political comeback in U.S. history, and then you just hand it over.
Right. Like Trump wants to submit
Right.
or play second banana
Right.
to any other world leader.
Right.
Yeah, that's the Trump personality that we've known all this time.
The liberal argument is weak.
Well, they
It's
just
the same people saying,
Yeah, I know.
I mean, Trump is a Russian agent.
been there,
I mean,
done that.
It's just getting old, really.
I know. It's like come up with something
You have
new.
anything else?
Well, they did come up with something new.
Hmm?
Remember? Then it was Elon is now. It's not Hitler that's the worst. It's Elon Musk.
Right.
Well, you saw the one representative yesterday. Go back to your own country.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. The xenophobia
Wow.
is okay after 22 years.
Right.
He needs to go back
There you go.
because he's an enemy of the United States. Trump is an enemy of the United States. Look, I may disagree with whatever final position Trump has on tariffs, which I'm not sure what it is yet. But I do believe he wants the best for the United States.
Oh, I believe that fully, yeah.
I think he has an obligation to tell us, especially people that voted for him, what precisely are you going to do, which he has not done. But I have no doubt that he wants the same thing for the United States that I want.
Yeah, I have no doubt about that.
And the other thing, I'm even just as positive as Trump doesn't bow down to anyone.
He's submissive.
And if you think you can sell that to the American people, you're crazy.
With everything they threw at him. And then pulled off the political comeback of all political comebacks.
Yeah.
And then he's just going to hand it over to other world leaders, Elon Musk, just pick and choose whoever it is in the day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wait for it. It may have already happened. He's submissive to Melania. She's the one in power. She's the one in control.
It's like, well, that's as good as anything else.
Well, I'm thinking it's actually more entertaining.
Well, no, you're wrong.
Hmm?
Barron controls the
Actually,
White House.
Barron, the giant Trump. Oh, my gosh. Seriously, I think he's still growing.
He said, Dad, do what I say.
Yeah. Right.
I lifted up my fist. I'm
Right.
sorry. I forgot. This isn't TV.
Barron is 6'9" for those that don't know.
Barron is in control. Barron runs.
He's in control.
I mean, it's like, but I mean, what's next? What stupid thing are we going to have to put up with? When I got the email, then I saw it again yesterday. He's just submissive to Putin. Yeah, because that's his personality.
Right.
He's a sniveling kind of guy that whimpers when anybody who has a little bit of testosterone also enters the room.
Right.
And he conforms because he's afraid of them. That's the Trump personality that we've seen over the last half century.
And shies away at every turn.
Yes, exactly.
He also avoids the media, never answers questions to the nth.
Right.
Ever.
I mean, come on. Come up with something new.
Well, you're just delusional. I mean, is
funny.
Today's weed that strong? It must be.
I know.
Or everybody's microdosing or macrodosing. I don't know what they're doing.
It's got to be macro.
It's got to be swimming in it because you're full on delusional.
866-98 Red Eye.
Get in touch with Red Eye Radio, toll free at 866-90 Red Eye.
It's Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Trump has a great opportunity today to just after 5 weeks to promote exactly what he wants to do, and I hope he does. I hope he starts out with your successes, because you can sit there and you say 5 weeks. Has it been 5 weeks? 6 weeks? Whatever.
Yeah.
5 weeks. Borders closed.
Yep.
Democrats didn't tell you the truth.
Right.
They told you We needed this since Congress had to do it. I told you, no. We have the laws already. We could do it. We did it. 5 weeks,
Right.
something that the American public suffered for all during the Biden administration because they caused it.
Right.
He should start that way.
Yep.
I don't know if he will,
Yeah.
but he should start that way.
Yeah.
And then get on to Zelenskyy and then economics. I think he has to explain more to the American people what is the plan.
Well, I
What's
expect
the
to
end
hear, something on tariffs.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a speech that's written.
Yes, exactly.
So
Right.
it should have direction.
Yeah.
Which means it should be
The talking point should
it's
be
not
there.
just
Here's-
going
right.
back and forth in an interview or
Okay.
talking with the media.
Right.
It's a speech. So we'll see where he goes on it. We'll have lots of audio tonight.
This is Red Eye Radio on Westwood One.